Okay, first things first, I want to get it out of the way. I realized that I missed the last upload the day before yesterday. I'm really, really sorry. Like, genuinely, I feel fucking terrible about it. But I woke up the day before, or basically the day of my previous upload. I took a nap, woke up, and I had a super high fever. My throat was fucking killing me. It still is. My fever's gone down a little bit. I'm not dying. I don't have the COVID, but I was super sick. I'm very sorry. I literally tried and tried and tried, could not do it. So I fucked up. That's my bad. I hope you guys forgive me. You'll maybe give me a freebie just this once, maybe just one freebie, but I understand if you don't. Anyways, let's start talking about anime fans and why they suck sometimes. Okay, there are a ton of characters like this. Basically, what I want to talk about today is characters that anime fans hate way too much for way too little. Basically, the easiest way to say it would be characters that people hate for no reason. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird. I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird. My throat is still fucking killing me. But let's talk about these characters. So, Sakura is a big one. Ginjo from Bleach is also one. Those are the two I've chosen to talk about because Ginjo, I don't know why I said A. Ginjo is really, really important to me. He's one of my favorite. He's my favorite character from the Bleach anime, and one of my favorite characters from the series overall. And then Sakura is obviously like the big meme. She gets talked about constantly. She's definitely probably the most hated anime character ever, which is fucking wild to me, but we'll get into that later. So those are the two I've chosen to talk about today. There are a billion trillion more. A couple that come to mind are Kirito and what's that one fucking guy? Jiren from Dragon Ball are two that people hate way too much considering how like neutral they are. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to imply that I'm above this sin, that I've never done this, but I haven't done it in a while. I've grown a lot as a person, as a fan, as a human being that consumes things. But I did used to do this, by all means. I used to hate a character because either everyone else did, sometimes it was because just so many people hated a character I decided I should hate them too, or I hated him for no real reason at all. Like, there was literally no reason I could put to it, and I was just like, yeah, I hate that character. I don't like him. I've gotten a lot better at articulating the reasons why I dislike characters. Like, a really good example of a character that I dislike now that I would not have been able to tell you why back then is Asta. I don't think I would have been able to explain very well why I hate Asta so much like 2 years ago. So let's talk about my boy first, my beautiful, beautiful baby boy Ginjo. Now, Ginjo gets shit on constantly, and part of that is because he's in the Fullbring arc, which admittedly, I'm a fan of the Fullbring arc, but I'm also like my favorite arc is all in Bleach in the Bleach anime is a filler arc, so maybe I'm just a filler guy. But a lot of people dislike the filler or the Fullbring arc, which I can understand. You know, it was kind of like it felt like the most forced arc, I think, that I would concede. But the one thing that I would argue is that the best thing to come out of the Fullbring arc, other than new and improved Ichigo, was Kugo Ginjo. I fucking love this guy, and in my opinion, Ginjo is just as layered as a character like Aizen, if not more so. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not want anyone to misconstrue this, misunderstand this, anything. I'm not saying that Ginjo is better than Aizen. That layers to a character don't necessarily. I mean, you can have a million layers, and if they're all made of shit, you know, you're not better. I'm saying that I just strictly think that in terms of complexity of character, Ginjo is on par with or above Aizen. This is not a comparison, Ginjo versus Aizen, which one I like more, irrelevant. I'm saying Ginjo just as complex and layered as Aizen. He has goals, he has motivations, they're understandable, they're relatable. Honestly, Ginjo does fucked up shit. You know, he's the reason behind a lot of pain and suffering in the arc, but at the end of the day, I still sympathized with him a little bit. I saw him as a villain, sure, that's what he was supposed to be, but he wasn't just completely deplorable like Aizen. Aizen is a bit of a one-dimensional villain. We don't really need to get into that. But Ginjo is more, he has his moments where you sympathize with him. On top of that, he's powerful enough to be a threat. You know, it's kind of hard to be afraid of a villain if they're a little bitch. So he's powerful enough to be a threat. And his look, I guess I'm comparing him to Aizen a lot. So similar to Aizen, he's layered, got a cool personality. He's powerful enough to be a threat to the main character, to everything going on. And his look, oh boy, his look, I think, is a million times better than Aizen. That is a hill I will die on. Granted, it is completely subjective, obviously, but I mean, come on, look at this fucking guy. I mean, Jesus, look at this guy. that hair, those eyes, the fucking face tats, that bone armor ripped straight from Ichigo and improved, that giant sword that seems German inspired but like mega gothic and turned up to 11, that deep voice. Fuck me, that is a handsome man. I'm admittedly straight and married, but like Ginjo, I would leave my wife for you. That's enough ranting about Ginjo. I fucking love Ginjo. I really wish that this channel could be just about Ginjo. God damn, I love him. But we need to talk about Sakura too. Now, here's my biggest problem when it comes to Sakura. People constantly call her useless, right? It's like a meme, like, oh, your character is as useful as Sakura. But Sakura is literally just a normal person trying her damn best to keep up with two Naruto-verse equivalent of gods. I mean, cut her some fucking slack, bro. Naruto's literally like the strongest shinobi that's ever existed by a mile. Sasuke is pretty fucking high up there too, especially for someone who's not a Kage. In fact, Sakura is a relatively talented shinobi herself. I mean, obviously nowhere, and I mean nowhere near her two squad mates, but she ain't half bad, actually. She's pretty good. She's pretty strong for a normie. Despite that, I see literally every single day people calling Sakura useless. I mean, it's like non-fucking stop. People will find other characters from completely unrelated shows and call them Sakura if they're a bad character. And at the end of the day, Sakura just isn't really that bad. Maybe I personally don't like Sakura, right? But she's by no means useless or nearly as bad as people say. I mean, I would describe her as like a mid character. She's not terrible. She kind of fails as a love interest. I don't really dig Naruto's crush on her that much. But in terms of an overall character, how she grows and changes in the series, she's fine. She's like completely mid. And yet people will literally shit on her as if she is the worst character in all of fiction. And I mean, again, not defending her. I don't like Sakura personally. She's probably my least favorite main character from Naruto. I can think of off the top of my head. This is not the time to think of all Naruto characters, but people just shit on her constantly. It's like, guys, holy fucking Christ, this is just a random mid character that you guys talk about constantly. And this is just yet another example of anime fans being bad and annoying. I'm sorry, but we're bad and annoying. Fuck, dude, we suck. I suck, you guys all suck. Let's be honest, we're so annoying sometimes. I don't understand, like, what, for some reason lately, I've just become so disillusioned with anime and its community because it seems like anime fans are like completely unable to look past their personal bias, which I guess I can't condemn people too much for. I had similar problems once, but like, it's so annoying. It means that having any discussion is pointless. Power scaling, which is something I love to do. I love to sit and talk to my friends for like an hour about why X is stronger than Y, but it's like just not worth the time. You'll talk to people about power scaling and they'll say, like for Bleach, for example, someone will say, well, I've decided that, I don't know, who's a random character, Byakuya, the guy who should have died. I've decided that Byakuya is my favorite character. He's stronger than whoever you're saying. And it's just so annoying. That may have been too harsh of me. I apologize. Very sick once again. Well, no, I'm still sick from before. I'm just saying it once again. But, I mean, Jesus, like, it's so annoying how people will just latch onto a character and be like, nah, fuck them for life. Like, come on, guys. Sakura ain't that bad. Ginjo's best character in Bleach anime. Let's be real here. That's all for this video. I'm sorry, I still do have a bit of a fever. I'm on some medicine right now. I'm trying my best. I really am. But I honestly have already forgotten everything I've said in this video. Editing is going to be a fucking nightmare. I'll see you again with another video the day after tomorrow, unless I'm in the hospital. But I love you, and I'll be back.